Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to my list about one of my favorite things ever, hockey. Now, being that hockey's over 100 years old, there's bound to be many interesting and surprising facts about the sport, and I've compiled 5 of them for you today. So here they are, enough with my crappy intro. Believe it or not, NHL goaltenders did not wear a mask until 1959. It wasn't until a game between the Montreal Canadiens and the New York Rangers that Canadiens goaltender Jacques Plante took a shot off the face that cut him so bad that he had to get stitches. Now this was very common considering that they didn't wear masks, but Plante had enough. After being stitched up, he refused to play for the Montreal Canadiens until he was allowed to wear his own crudely designed fiberglass mask. The coach had previously refused to let Jacques Plante wear this mask because he thought it would impede his vision, therefore making him a worse goaltender. Although tonight he had to give in, because if he didn't play, the Canadiens would have to forfeit. So Plante went on to wear his mask, and hockey, as we know it, was changed forever. Thank God. Can you imagine? Retired goaltenders would be about as useful as a retired boxer, which is to say that their brain would be porridge. Considering that the Stanley Cup is one of the hardest trophies, in my opinion, to win in any sport, you'd think that it would be given the respect that it deserves. Well, that's sort of true. The Stanley Cup has had quite the ride in the past 100 years. It's been brought to a strip club, it's been left at the bottom of a pool, some people have peed in it, and then they drink out of it. Not at the same time, hopefully. It was even left at the side of a road where it was miraculously not stolen. So it just goes to show, alcohol could do some crazy stuff like making you forget a 35-pound silver trophy on the side of the road. It's not like you just went through hell to win that thing. Hey, maybe you can hawk it to get more booze. In sports, one of the biggest signs of disrespect is when the fans, usually disgruntled, start to throw things on the ice or at the players. But for Detroit Red Wings fans, throwing something on the ice is the biggest sign of respect. Well, throwing octopi on the ice to be exact. While the big question of how the hell did you sneak an octopus into a sports arena will never be answered. How the tradition started can be. It was back in the 1950s when you only needed 8 wins to win the Stanley Cup. That Detroit Red Wings fans decided to throw an octopus on the ice. The tentacles of the octopus represented each win closer to the Stanley Cup. But once again, how the hell do you sneak an octopus into a sports arena? How? In the NHL, there's no better time for you to be an optimist than the draft day. It's a day in which your favorite team could select the right players that could change their fortune forever and help them go on to win a Stanley Cup. But it's a really long day for the people in the front office. Back then, instead of the live televised events like they have today, they just all sat in a room and all the draft picks were made by telephone. And because of this, it would tend to drag on a lot more than it does today. So, in the 1974 NHL entry draft, Buffalo Sabres GM Punch Imlach decided to spice things up a little bit and make things interesting. He did this by drafting unknown Taro Tsujimoto of the Japanese Hockey League's Tokyo Katanas. This would have been fine if not for the fact that he nor the team existed, or the league. The reason no one questioned the legitimacy of the pick was because, at the time, scouting outside of North America was not very good. It was very limited. So, it was completely plausible for an unknown player to exist. Also, no internet. Imlach actually stretched the joke out until training camp when he finally had to come clean with it because everyone was asking, "Where's Taro? Where's Taro? Where's Taro?" Taro Tsujimoto lives on as an inside joke for the Buffalo Sabres faithful. And for a little bit after, whenever the games would get one-sided, the crowd would start shouting, "We want Taro! We want Taro!" It is a stunt that unfortunately would never be able to be reproduced today. Thanks, Internet. If you were to watch an NHL playoff game, you'll see the sea of white towels in the audience as the home crowd tries to rally their team to victory. But how the towel wave got started was a different story. It was the 1982 playoffs, and the Vancouver Canucks were playing the Chicago Blackhawks. The game was not going Vancouver's way, as they had fallen behind 3-1 as well as a bunch of questionable calls against them. As the third period started, a series of events enraged the Canucks. They had a goal disallowed, the refs missed an obvious penalty against Chicago, and then a 4th consecutive penalty was called against Vancouver. During the power play, Chicago scored yet again to put them up 4-1, at which point Roger Nielsen, the Canucks head coach at the time, put a white towel on a stick and began waving it in surrender, prompting many on the bench to do the same. Nielsen was ejected from the game and later fined, but this lit a fire underneath the butts of the Canucks, rallying them to win the series against the Blackhawks and starting a tradition in hockey that fans still engage in to this day. Well, there you have it, folks. 5 surprising facts about the NHL. I hope you learned something and enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy the video, how's about you help me out by clicking the subscribe button? It's free to you, and I'd really appreciate it. And until next time, adieu.